If you want abs in 60 days, let me be brutally honest with you. For most people, this has nothing to do with doing more crunches. It has almost everything to do with one thing: getting lean enough for your abs to actually show, because you already have abs. Everyone does. The real question is whether they're visible. And according to the research, visible abs usually come down to low enough body fat, enough abdominal muscle thickness, and a diet and training plan you can actually stick to for 8 straight weeks. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get abs in 60 days using proven science. No detox teas, no secret ab workouts, no fake fitness influencer nonsense. Just the real plan. How much fat you actually need to lose, how to eat, how to train, how much cardio you need, and what kind of results are realistic in 2 months. And if you follow this properly, you'll give yourself the highest possible chance of seeing visible abs fast. First, let's get one thing clear. Getting abs in 60 days is possible, but it depends on where you're starting. If you're already relatively lean, maybe just 8 to 15 pounds away from visible definition, 60 days can be enough. If you're carrying a lot more body fat, then no, not full 6-pack abs in 2 months. But you can still make insane progress. And that's important because the fitness industry sells people fantasy timelines. Science doesn't. A realistic rate of fat loss for preserving muscle is around 0.5% to 1% of body weight per week. That recommendation is commonly used in sports nutrition because it's aggressive enough to create visible change, but not so aggressive that you destroy your training performance and lose a ton of muscle. So if you weigh 180 pounds, a realistic target is about 0.9 to 1.8 pounds per week. Over 8 weeks, that's roughly 7 to 14 pounds. And for a lot of people, that's exactly the range that starts revealing upper abs, midline definition, and a flatter waist. So the goal over the next 60 days is simple: lose as much fat as possible while keeping as much muscle as possible. That's how abs show up. The biggest mistake people make is thinking abs are built by abs workouts alone. They'll do 200 crunches a day, but they never fix their calories. That's like trying to reveal your jawline by chewing gum while eating in a calorie surplus. It doesn't work. A six-pack is mainly a body fat issue. For men, visible abs often begin showing somewhere around 10 to 15% body fat, with clear six-pack definition usually closer to 8 to 12%. For women, visible abdominal definition often shows up at higher ranges because women naturally carry more essential body fat, often around 18 to 24%. For some level of abs visibility, depending on genetics and muscle development. Those numbers aren't perfect for everyone, but they're a useful starting point. So if your current body fat is well above that, your number one job is not doing more abs exercises. Your number one job is creating a calorie deficit, because research consistently shows that fat loss ultimately requires sustained energy imbalance, meaning you burn more calories than you consume over time. That's the foundation. Everything else is secondary. How to eat for abs in 60 days? Now let's talk about the most important part of this entire process: your diet. If you want visible abs in 60 days, you need a calorie deficit that is aggressive enough to work, but sustainable enough to maintain. For most people, a good target is about 300 to 700 calories below maintenance per day. That usually leads to the fat loss rate we talked about earlier. Not starvation, not crash dieting, just controlled, measurable fat loss. Now here's what matters most. First, protein. If you want to keep muscle while dieting, high protein is non-negotiable. Research repeatedly shows that higher protein intakes help preserve lean mass during calorie restriction, improve satiety, and support recovery. A strong target is around 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. That's about 0.7 to 1 gram per pound. So if you weigh 180 pounds, you should aim for around 130 to 180 grams of protein daily. That alone will make the cut easier. Second, food quality. You do not need a clean eating cult diet, but you do need foods that help control hunger. That means building most meals around lean protein fruits, vegetables, potatoes, rice, oats, Greek yogurt, eggs, legumes, high fiber carbs. Why? Because high protein, high fiber foods tend to be more filling per calorie. That makes adherence easier. And adherence is everything. The best diet for abs is not keto, carnivore, fasting, or low carb. It's the diet you can follow consistently while staying in a deficit. Third, track your intake. People are terrible at estimating calories. Study after study has shown that self-reported food intake is often wildly inaccurate. So for these 60 days, stop guessing. Track your food. Track your body weight. Use weekly averages, adjust based on data. If your average scale weight isn't dropping after 2 weeks, Reduce calories slightly or increase activity. Simple. The best training approach. Now let's talk training. If your goal is abs, your lifting program should not turn into random circuits and endless fat-burning workouts. That's another huge mistake. During a cut, resistance training is what signals your body to keep muscle. The more muscle you keep, the better your physique looks when the fat comes off. Research is very clear on this. People who resistance train while dieting preserve more lean mass than people who rely on diet or cardio alone. So your goal should be to lift weights at least 3 to 5 times per week, using mostly compound movements. Focus on squats or leg press, RDLs or deadlift variations, bench press or push-ups, overhead press, rows, pull-ups or pull-downs. Train hard, keep progressive overload where possible. Don't slash all your training volume the second you start dieting. You may not gain much muscle in a deficit, but you can absolutely maintain it. And beginners can sometimes build some too. Now let's talk abs directly. Yes, you should train them because abs are muscles and muscles respond to resistance. If your abs are underdeveloped, they won't pop as much even when you get lean. So train them like any other muscle group around 2 to 4 times per week with progressive overload. The best exercises are usually the ones that allow resistance and stability. Cable crunches, hanging leg raises, decline sit-ups, abs wheel rollouts. Reverse crunches, machine crunches. Do about 6 to 12 hard sets per week total. And focus on quality, not just mindless reps. How much cardio do you need? Now cardio, do you need it for abs? Technically, no. Practically, it helps a lot because cardio increases energy expenditure, improves fitness, and gives you more flexibility with your calorie intake. A useful target is around 8,000 to 12,000 steps per day, plus 2 to 4 cardio sessions per week if needed. That could be incline walking, cycling, jogging, or any form you can recover from. You do not need to destroy yourself with HIIT every day. In fact, too much intense cardio can backfire by increasing fatigue, making your lifting worse and making the diet harder to stick to. Low to moderate intensity cardio is usually enough. Think consistency, not punishment. And if you're someone who sits all day, simply increasing daily movement can make a massive difference. Sometimes the fastest way to get lean isn't more abs workouts. It's going from 3,000 steps a day to 10,000. Sleep, stress, and water retention. Here's the part most people ignore. You can do everything right with training and nutrition. But if your sleep is terrible and your stress is through the roof, your results will be worse. Poor sleep is linked to worse hunger control, lower training performance, and greater difficulty sticking to a calorie deficit. In some studies, sleep restriction has even been shown to shift weight loss toward more lean mass loss and less fat loss. That's the opposite of what we want. So for these 60 days, aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Treat it like part of the program. And understand this too, your abs may not appear in a perfectly linear way. Why? Because stress, sodium, poor sleep, digestion, and hormonal fluctuations can all cause water retention and bloating. That means you might actually be losing fat while looking softer in the mirror for a few days. Don't panic. Judge progress using weekly body weight averages, waist measurements, progress photos, gym performance, not just how you look after one salty meal. What a realistic 60-day plan looks like. So if I had to give you the simplest science-based 60-day abs plan, it would look like this. 1. Eat in a calorie deficit. Aim to lose 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. 2. Hit your protein. Get 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight daily. 3. Lift 3 to 5 times per week. Keep training hard to preserve muscle. 4. Train abs 2 to 4 times per week. Use weighted movements and progressive overload. 5. Walk more. Get 8,000 to 12,000 steps per day. 6. Add cardio if needed. Use 2 to 4 sessions per week to help maintain the deficit. 7. Sleep 7 to 9 hours. Recovery affects everything. 8. Track everything. Calories, body weight, waist, photos, strength. That's it. Not sexy, not flashy, but proven. Who will see abs in 60 days? Now, let's be realistic. Who is most likely to get visible abs in 60 days? Usually people who already have decent muscle mass, are currently moderately lean, can consistently follow a deficit, don't miss workout, track accurately, avoid weekend binge eating. That last one matters a lot, because 1 or 2 uncontrolled cheat days can erase a week's deficit fast. For example, if you create a 500-calorie daily deficit, that's 3,500 calories per week. One blowout weekend with takeout, drinks, desserts, and snacks can wipe that out easily. So if you're serious about getting abs in 60 days, your weekends have to match your weekdays. Not perfectly, but closely. So can you get abs in 60 days? Yes, if you're close enough already and you follow a plan based on science instead of social media myths. And even if you don't end up with a full shredded six-pack by day 60, you can still make dramatic changes in your waistline, body fat, and overall look. That's the real win. Because abs are not built by magic workouts. They're revealed through disciplined fat loss, intelligent training, high protein intake, good recovery, and consistency over time. Do that for the next 8 weeks and your body will look different. No question. If you want, I can also make a full 60-day abs meal plan and a science-based workout routine to go with this video. So if you want that, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And comment ABS below if you want me to make the full step-by-step plan next. See you in the next one.